of lives, the less amount of property. And we want to see a world where it has a modest population, not people just running all over, you know what I mean? A modest population, maybe cut it down to 4 billion people or something instead of 7 or 8. It's better to have 4 billion people than 8 and you got a bad life. You know what I mean, right? If what I mean is, not the Nazi thing. We're going to get rid of all of y'all. Not that, but learn to what is the level of life on earth that can be sustainable and harmonious, right? That you figure that out yourself. Everybody figures it out, They figure it out themselves. It ain't nobody figuring it out for you, Okay. People need to be trained. So you have Chinamans, they have 1.4 billion people saying, oh, we don't have enough people, we're going to have to get, that's not true. That's because of the people are getting old and they had a policy that worked perfectly for them before. So that means India and China. I don't want to get off into the woods, but we need a better world. The Negroes will underestimate us because, well, it's not that, okay. No, it's not a big deal. They don't think, okay. As you can hear, somebody has been thinking about all of this. I mean, and it can't be a week or two. They've been thinking about it a long time ahead. And the percentages they use, if you heard them 20, 30 years ago, they might have been circling around since before then. But let me just go to the close here. Why is strategic management important? Islamic organizations of all types and sizes continually face new and changing situations. Being able to cope with constant destabilizing, destructive, and diversionary tactics mean that any Islamic organization that wants to survive and thrive in this hostile, anti-Islamic environment must operate on the highest level of strategic proficiency. Anybody want to survive? This is 2008. Anybody want to be around? They believe in longevity and all that. And they know what part longevity, and they know how to use longevity. And they know how to rest too. Longevity, you're just going to swim across the English Channel. You have to tread water sometime. Why? To get your bearing, right? You buy the boat that's treading water. You have to be able to, you want to readjust your thinking, and right? You can't get out of the water, but you're just treading water because it's a long distance swim. You can't make a long distance swim. I'm just going to do this all day. You got to tread water to give your mind time to refocus and where we are, how we're feeling, and how's everything else. Okay. There's a structured, systematic approach that is needed to cope with the uncertain environments and situations clearly faced today by the Islamic movement. Strategic management process is such that it forces Islamic workers and Muslims in administrative positions to examine all the important aspects of a situation before determining the most suitable decisions and actions. Recent studies clearly indicate that organizations which collected information, used analytical techniques, made more effective strategic decisions than those did not. Well, let's just try to look around and find out, is there any other Islamic organization that's really on the move other than us? Or is still even thinking about anything? Okay. Right. I'll skip all of that and some benefits of strategic management or definition of strategy. The term strategy has been defined in a variety of ways. Past descriptions include strategy as integrated decisions, actions, or plans designed to set and achieve organizational goals. We define strategy as goal-directed decisions and actions by which capabilities and resources of the Islamic movement are matched with opportunities. They're matched with opportunities, threats in its environment. They are essential parts of this definition. So, definition of strategic management, we didn't went through that before. Situational analysis, right? Strategy formulation, strategy implementation, evaluation and control. We're passing through evaluation and control. So none of these are like you go to bed one day and you're in one stage and you wake up the next in another. For it to be real, you just kind of, I believe we're mashing together in an excellent way. Moving from where we were to where we need to be. Stage one in this process means that when stage one is semi-finished, we will be fully functional as an organization. We will have re-implemented the things that we're doing here. We'll be far ahead here. We will have reorganized Oakland. Let's say within a year, we plan to have passed through this evaluation and control stage. Evaluation and control. Evaluating where we are, where we wanted to go. Where are we in according to where we wanted to be originally? Right? Where are we in compared to when we were writing all this stuff? Where are we? What have we done? We talked about these days David and Goliath and his forces and all of that, right? That's what we were talking about during this period for certain reasons. Discombobulation, recombobulation, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Where are we now? I would say not bad. Not bad at all. And we're thankful to be here. Let me just mention a few things, calculations. I remember it was on 98th Avenue. We was coming over a ramp, like there's a freeway down here and then there's a ramp that goes over it. That's 98th Avenue. And we driving one of these big bad Cadillacs, all the chrome on it and everything. And of course I'm driving and a Volkswagen zips up and that, when you're young, you're full of juice to make all those. But guess what? We got stuck right there. There's a fire plug right here, and there's a VW right there. You know what my friend Doc told me? He said, man, that fire plug looked like it was in the front seat with us. What did I do? I avoided the fire plug, and I hit the Volkswagen. Hit the fender of it, spin it around, got out and gave the guy $200. That time was a long time. Said, hey, take care of your stuff. And I took my car to the shop later to get the fender fixed. And then from that time, my homeboy, who was the second in command already, he had came from L.A. He had got a counterfeit case. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And he was there. Ah, that's nice. And, but from then on, he had trust in my ability to make decisions. Because in a life decision, it's not a time to think about it. Fire plug, kill us both, automatically. So he knew that whatever we got into, whatever decision I made, it would be better for us because it's automatic. It ain't, you don't have no thing. We're going to study fire plugs, Volkswagens, motion of the car, weight of the car. Of course, we know that big old Cadillac hit that little Volkswagen. Actually, it just spin it around, and we hit the back fender. But from then on, he knew that event right there changed his behavior about, he went on to the penitentiary, in the federal penitentiary, for counterfeit. And the stuff that we went through after that, I'll just tell you one. Los Banos. I-5 was, when they first built it, they hadn't went all the way to, I-5 cut off at 152, where Highway 99 is the old Highway 1. Like Highway 1, go from Florida all the way up to Canada. This is right along 95. Anywhere you turn off 90, you'll see signs all along 95. It says Highway 1. Highway 1, I don't care how far south you go. 99 is like that in California. 99 is the old interstate highway. And I-5, they both go to the same place, from Canada to Mexico. Okay, so when we come out of Oakland, we used to go zoop, 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 and we'd get part of it on I-5. And then we'd have to go over to 99. When you go over to 99, there was a little place called Los Banos. And we come through Los Banos, and before we got there, we stopped into the Shell station and filled up with gasoline. Under the armrest, we had a pistol, and we were snorting cocaine. It must have been just all over. When you really get to blowing, and the guy in the thing, he looked under there and saw a pistol. So for a white boy seeing a pistol in those days, that means these niggas, the money they got, and the car they drive, and they're robbers. And all white folks thought like in those days. So we got back in the car, and before we got into town, it's like a sheriff's posse. They don't have those anymore. But this is a posse. And the posse stop us, arrest us. And I said to them, I want to see a judge. You know what the white man said? I am the judge. Then they looked at these stretch marks, and you know what them crackers said? They thought they was tracks. And me and my friend was saying, my God, we're goners, man. We're out here in these pecker woods. We out here in the woods, you know what I mean, in Los Banos. And they done looked at these stretch marks. They on both arms, stretch marks. And they said, the niggas, they looked at each other. Heroin addicts. They thought they was tracks. Then we went down to the jail, and there was a guy in there that we hadn't seen in years. His name was Bug Simpson. And man, y'all here, yeah, it is Merced County. And then those days, now there's a lot of blacks out there. In those days, there wasn't none. So, and we walked free. How did? 3 days, my lawyer came down. Now, some kind of way I had bought some weed from some white boys, and I